Welcome back to BT. It is 7:50 and time now to talk business. And for that, we turn to our business editor, Mike Eppel. Good morning, Mike.
Sarah, how you doing this morning?
I'm not doing well at all because you mentioned to me that there's potential for a French fry shortage.
Well, I guess here's the thing. Aren't we supposed to be cutting carbs and reducing our starch intake? Because we might have to.
Are you hinting at something? Are you hinting at something? Should I be cutting carbs out of my diet?
I'm talking about trends in foods, keto diets and such. Starch and carbs not good for you.
Well,
so
for those
under the circumstance, we might be looking at a much higher price point for French fries of all things. And this is actually serious because it comes back to what's going on in the potato industry.
Yeah.
Specifically, early this year, farmers couldn't get on their land. It was too wet. And then we had an early frost in some parts of the U.S. and here in Canada. Hurricane Dorian, of all things, hurt some of the potato growing operations in the United States. And we haven't even had the potato crop forecast from the provincial government in Prince Edward Island, which is the largest potato growing province in Canada. So, you know, this backdrop of the Idaho crop is down something like 30%.
Yeah.
The Manitoba crop is down 18%. Yeah, it's going to affect us at the grocery store, possibly. But again, you know, much like the great cauliflower scare of 2017, we may have to adjust.
That was nuts. It was like $6 for a head of cauliflower.
And guess what? People didn't buy them.
Well, it depends. I have a very deep love for cauliflower, so I paid the price. Okay, let's move on. U.S. President Donald Trump making comments, sending some people into a bit of a frenzy ahead of the NATO summit.
Yes, he was all over the place kind of on the trade talks this morning in a wide-ranging news conference. He was talking about the U.S.-China trade discussions, which he now says there's no deadline. And the better time to do a deal will be after the 2020 election, next November in the U.S. So they were close to a deal, and now apparently they're not. So guess what? The market's going, what? The other thing, the U.S. is fighting against France related to the French government's plans to tax U.S. tech companies. So they might be bringing in, the U.S. will, a 100% import tax on French champagne, like saying it like that, and cheese, which is good for you, by the way. Also, the U.S. yesterday announced tariffs on steel exports from Brazil and Argentina. So you got a whole bunch of trade issues. The Dow Jones, just before I came on set here, down over 400 points in the opening minutes this morning. It is significant, and we can't make light of the trade tensions that might slow the economy next year.
Right. Okay, we've only got time to talk about one last thing. Cuts to the Bank of Montreal or Hudson's Bay rejecting a $2 billion offer.
I'll go through quickly. BMO is has cut over 800 jobs. Might be more to follow as they're looking at streamlining and their reorganization. They still made $1.19 billion in their earnings. And the HBC, a special committee there formed by the board of directors to examine takeover bids, has rejected the bid from Catalyst Capital. They say there's no way it's going to get done. Now it goes back to the Baker-led group and maybe a privatization bid or not. It's all at the Ontario Securities Commission. HBC shares down sharply in early trading action this morning.
All right. Thanks very much, Mike. I'll see you at the same time tomorrow, okay? You can also hear Mike on 660 News. Let's take a look at the markets.
This portion of BT is brought to you by 660 News, Calgary's breaking news, weather, and traffic station.